Hello, Dali here, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that affects my everyday life, and that is anxiety. Apparently many creatives suffer from mental disorders, and a lot of research and a little understanding goes a long way. If you don't suffer from any mental disorders but know someone who does, please be understanding to their plight because it can be really tough. Just everyday life can be really difficult. But if they have not tried anything that I outlined today, please consider telling them these techniques just in case they might help them. Now, these tips have helped me tremendously, but that does not mean that it is a one-size-fits-all. This may not help you whatsoever in the slightest because unfortunately we're affected in different ways and no one thing can really help us all. But hopefully these 4 tips will help. So let's get into it. Number 1, remove stimulants from your life. Many of us have grown up seeing the adults in our life drink coffee or Coca-Cola, copious amounts of tea. But oftentimes this leads to a high heart rate, which can cause panic attacks, or it can just cause general stress. And the withdrawal from the caffeine is really detrimental to our bodies and our minds because we tend to fall into periods of lowness or even depression. And then if you're like me, you know that with these low moods, you tend to want to drink more coffee or more caffeine to bring you back up again, but it doesn't always work the way you expected it to. So if you have considered lowering your intake, please do it slowly because cutting it out straight away can also give you bad side effects. Opt instead for something that's decaffeinated or lower in caffeine, such as green tea, or even try some herbal teas. This tip also considers high sugar drinks as well and high sugar foods. Sugar acts in a very similar way to caffeine in your body. Again, the higher your sugar intake is, the higher your heart rate goes, the more energy you have, and this also means that you will then withdraw. And this period of withdrawal makes you think that you need more of the thing when realistically you don't need more of it, you need less. We have natural things in our body that give us energy, and yes, sometimes a coffee or some sort of stimulant helps us in order to concentrate or whatever the case may be. But the more you intake of this stuff, the less your body can produce it naturally. Tip number 2 is light exercise. Exercise releases good chemicals in your brain that helps with imbalances. But not all exercise is beneficial. Sometimes your heart beating faster because of your exercise might trick your brain into thinking that you're having a panic attack. So consider a light, gentle workout, something like Pilates or yoga, not a lot of stressed positions, and just work into it gently. The more that you can convince your brain that you're not having a panic attack and that you're actually just doing something beneficial for your body, the harder you can go with your exercises. So you could start lifting weights or do something like that, and it's tremendously helpful. Remember to listen to your body and mind, and please don't overexert yourself. And remember that anxiety affects a vast majority of us. So if you can create some sort of walking group or something like that in your local town, you might benefit more than yourself. Tip number 3 is grounding. This technique comes in many forms. The use of the 5 senses is a great distraction. And this is especially useful when you feel a panic attack coming on. What can you hear, see, smell, feel, taste? This tends to move you outside of your head where the problem is, where the problem of anxiety is, and it puts you in the real world, in reality. But another method is gripping something tangible and stationary. This could be your kitchen bench, it could be your desk or a bookcase, whatever it is, make sure that it is not going to move, something that's going to stay there no matter how hard you shake. I'm unsure as to why this helps. It might be because it is a stationary thing, it isn't vulnerable, it doesn't move, it's strong. And I think maybe that kind of, in some sort of spiritual way, if you want to go there, tells our mind that, okay, this is stationary, I'm here in the real world, I'm touching this thing, I'm holding it, and it is real and it is tangible. Whereas the thoughts in my head are not tangible. And finally, number 4 is to be honest. If your anxiety is situational, implement changes to help your situation. This may seem impossible, but you don't have to do it all at once. It might just start off with saying no to something that you truly don't want to do. The person that you say no to, more often than not, will not get annoyed at you or have an issue with you saying no at all. Half the time they'll be like, okay, that's cool, we'll make plans for another day. And I know that it is so daunting to say those 2 little letters. No is one of the hardest words in our vocabulary. And honestly, if a person gets offended at you saying no, are they looking out for your best interest? You've probably heard about removing toxic people from your life. Now, this doesn't always mean someone who's terribly nasty to you in any way. It could just mean that they put a little bit of an inconvenience in your life, or they don't care about your interests, or they're not understanding to your plight. You're allowed to be honest with yourself and others, and you're allowed to feel the way you do. And once you believe this in your heart, making these changes aren't going to be so difficult. Now, it's okay to let anxiety reside within you. It's perfectly safe and acceptable to have anxiety because it protects us from dangers. What's not acceptable is when you let it run your life. So the idea isn't to completely remove it, but just to lessen it to a manageable level. So that concludes this video. Please remember that you are not alone in this journey. There are so many helpful websites and phone numbers that you can call in order to get some assistance with your problems if you don't want to see a physical person. But if you do, then honestly, psychologists are there to help. If you have any other tricks or tips, please leave them in a comment below so that it might help other people who don't know them. If you have any questions or want me to cover a specific topic, please drop a comment below. If you want to follow my journey on any other platform, see the links in the description bar. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and so much more. I post videos every Thursday and tags every other Wednesday, so subscribe and hit that little bell if you want to be notified. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye!